Cialdini's sixth principle of persuasion: employ social proof. Robert Cialdini is one of the leading experts in the world when it comes to persuasion and influencing people. And he spent more than 30 years studying the psychology behind why people say yes. In his book, Influence: The Psychology of Persuasion, he outlined 6 different principles that can be used to persuade people much more easily. We've been covering each principle one by one, and in this video we'll cover the 6th and final principle: employ social proof. Employing social proof is a rather indirect way to influence people, because instead of making an argument for your product or service directly, you show them what other people are doing, but that doesn't make it any less powerful. Let's take a look at some examples to see how employing the principle of social proof can help you get more conversions. The power of numbers. Let's start with numbers. It seems only logical to assume that if a lot of people are doing something, then it must be good, right? After all, if 9 out of 10 dentists recommend a certain toothpaste, then it must be better than the ones that only get recommended by 7 out of 10 dentists, right? Now imagine you're selling a course online. If you tell people that over 1 million students have enrolled in your course, it will increase the perceived value of your course in the eyes of the potential customers, which will lead to more sales. This practice is very common among large companies who sell their products in big box stores. Big box retailers will often use large numbers to increase the perceived value of their products. For example, you've probably seen shampoo bottles that say something like, "No, one shampoo recommended by dermatologists." Of course, this isn't literally true. They don't actually mean that they are the no one shampoo that dermatologists recommend. What they mean is that they are the shampoo that is most recommended by dermatologists, but even that is still just a number. So these companies will write "No, 1" on the bottle. That way it's clear that the number in question is a large one, which makes it more impactful. So when you're trying to get people to buy a product or service from you, try using large numbers whenever possible. Not only does it add credibility to what you're saying, but it also increases the perceived value of your offering. Endorsements. People are more likely to trust someone who is an expert in a particular field than someone who is not. That's why when celebrities endorse a brand, it makes people more likely to buy its products. Likewise, if someone who is well known within a niche endorses your product or service, it can help to get more conversions. Imagine you're selling a course on copywriting and you get an endorsement from Joe Sugarman, who is one of the best copywriters of all time. Just that little bit of social proof will make your course far more valuable in the eyes of your potential customers. Now endorsements aren't limited to just celebrities or experts in a particular field. It can really be anyone who is well respected by your target audience. For example, if you're trying to sell a product to businesses, then getting an endorsement from another business that is well respected in that industry can be very powerful. Now let me give you an example from my own experience. When I started my first business selling t-shirts online, I didn't know any influencers in the t-shirt space. But I did know some YouTubers who had channels that catered to a similar audience that I was targeting. So I reached out to them and asked them if they would be willing to do a quick shout out for me. And every single one of them agreed. This may seem counterintuitive, as I was essentially asking them to promote my competition, but they were happy to help out since we weren't direct competitors. And as soon as they started mentioning me in their videos, my sales started to go through the roof. Now, obviously, I don't want to rely solely on other people to promote my business. So I continued to grow my YouTube channel, and now I am in a position where I don't need anyone else to promote me anymore. But I'll never forget the impact that those shoutouts had on my business. So the next time you're trying to sell a product or service, think about reaching out to some people who are well respected in your industry and ask them if they would be willing to give you an endorsement. It may just be the boost that your business needs. Numbers and ratings. Whenever you're trying to get people to buy something from you, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to do so. One way to do this is by providing as much information as possible. This is especially true when it comes to numbers. People love numbers. They provide a sense of certainty and objectivity when making a decision. This is why having a large number of positive reviews is so important. If you're trying to sell a product online, then having a bunch of 5-star reviews can be a great way to increase conversions. It's essentially social proof that the product is good and that other people are happy with it. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology found that having just 3 reviews can increase conversions by up to 30%. Another thing that you can do is provide as many details as possible about your product or service. This could include things like the number of ingredients, the amount of time it takes to deliver, or even the number of hours that you've spent developing the product. The more information you give people, the more confident they will feel in their purchase decision. A great way to provide a lot of information about your product is by creating detailed videos. For example, if you're selling a course, then creating a video that goes over everything that someone will learn in the course can be very helpful. It gives potential buyers a chance to see what they will be learning and get a feel for whether or not the course is right for them. So, if you're trying to get more conversions, make sure to provide as much information as possible, especially numbers. It will give people the confidence they need to buy from you. Awards and recognitions. We are more likely to trust and comply with people who have been recognized by others as being experts in their field. It's why we listen to doctors, lawyers, and financial advisors. They have been recognized by their peers as being experts in their respective fields. It's why you should display any awards or recognition that you have received on your website or social media profiles. It's why you should mention any notable clients or customers you have worked with. These are all forms of social proof that can help you build credibility and trust with potential customers. So if you're trying to get more conversions, make sure to highlight any awards or recognition that you have received. Testimonials, a great way to increase conversions is to use testimonials on your website or social media profiles. Testimonials are basically just quotes from happy customers raving about how great your product or service is. They're a great way to build credibility and trust with potential customers. In fact, a study by Nielsen found that 92% of consumers read online reviews before making a purchase. So make sure to use testimonials on your website or social media profiles. If you want to increase conversions, there are a few things that you can do to make your testimonials more effective. First, make sure to use high-quality images of the people who are giving the testimonials. People are more likely to trust a testimonial if they can see that the person is real. Second, make sure that the testimonials are specific and detailed. Vague testimonials like, "This product is amazing," are not nearly as effective as specific testimonials like, "I was able to lose 10 pounds in 4 weeks without changing my diet or exercise routine." Finally, make sure to use a variety of different testimonials. Don't just use written testimonials. Try using video testimonials as well. Video testimonials are extremely powerful because they are more personal and authentic. So if you want to increase conversions, make sure to use testimonials on your website or social media profiles. And make sure to follow the 3 tips that I just shared to make your testimonials as effective as possible. User-generated content. User-generated content is any type of content that is created by regular people like you and me. It's different from professional content, like what you might see on TV or in magazines, because it is more authentic and relatable. User-generated content can take many forms, such as blog posts, articles, videos, photos, or even social media posts. It's essentially any type of content that is created by someone other than a brand or company. Now, here's the thing. People are more likely to trust user-generated content than they are to trust professional content. It's simply because it feels more authentic and relatable. This is why brands are now investing millions of dollars into influencer marketing. Brands are essentially paying influencers to create content about their products or services. And the reason why they're redoing this is because they know that people are more likely to trust that content than they are to trust traditional advertising. So if you want to get more conversions, try using user-generated content on your website or social media profiles. You can do this by encouraging your customers to post about their experiences with your brand. You can also partner with influencers in your space and feature their content on your website or social media profiles. That's it for the sixth and final principle of persuasion. To recap, if you want to get more conversions, you can use social proof in a variety of ways. You can use numbers, endorsements, ratings, awards and recognitions, testimonials, and user-generated content. Simply by providing evidence that other people have had positive experiences with your product or service, you can build credibility and trust with potential customers, which will lead to more conversions. Now, if you want to keep growing your business and learning how to persuade people to buy your product or service, then I recommend you check out the next video where I discuss the fifth principle of persuasion. See you guys later.